Welcome, everybody, to the offline finals of the Nations Cup. We're finally in Berlin.
The motherland.
The motherland, exactly. And we're going to have some great games over the next 2 days for you guys. Really excited about the event, obviously, once again with you. And it's been a while.
Dude, you told me like 4 years ago that one day we would come back to Germany and we would check it all out. I didn't think it would be during an esport tournament, and it's been freaking awesome. And actually, just before we get started, I wanted to do something really dumb. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I got you a sandwich. I remember distinctly, I was like, how are you enjoying this sandwich? And you were like, you're like halfway through it. I was like, oh, he's probably enjoying it. You're like, it's shit. It's not good bread in any way, shape, or form. So I bought a German pastry, and I thought we could try it together.
At all.
Of course you don't. It stuck with me for years. It's like one of my first memories with Khaldor. So I wanted to split this pastry with you and try a piece and see if it's good. So get some here real quick.
So this is already rule number 1 broken.
That's what it looks like.
You're not going to actually eat on camera, but apparently we're eating this. This, by the way, is not German bread. I've been ranting and raving about German bread the entire time, and you bought a pastry.
Dude, I looked through all the breads. I was like, this one looks the tastiest. So
That's not bread.
it's pretty good, though. It's pretty all right. It's pretty yummy.
Pretty okay.
It's been a great time here in Germany, and I'm excited for the tournament as well. Like, we have a crowd already before we start the entire tournament, which is something in North America that we've had a hard time filling up when it comes to some scenes, and EU is here and representing it. It's freaking awesome. That is really good. Wow, put that away. That is really yummy. Yeah, we did the one cardinal sin, but hey, you know, you do what you do.
Exactly, we're going to have a good weekend. But yeah, we have way more people here than I expected. I'm not going to lie. We had no idea how many people were coming because obviously I've been telling all you guys, hey, come over here. There's no ticketing. There's like no entrance fee. So if you live in Berlin, you can still come and stop by. We had the experience here at the Alexanderplatz.
It's free.
But
come.
I was actually really surprised how many people showed up for game number 1. I mean, we were half an hour away from the stream even starting, and it was already starting to fill up. And I was like, whoa, that's way more people than I expected on the first day.
And to be fair, our first game is Germany versus Poland, so of course they
rematch
show up. Yeah, here, the rematch as well. We'll see if Poland will be able to bounce back against Germany, because the last time we saw these two face off, Germany did pretty good.
Yeah, but not the rematch I'm talking about.
Oh.
Okay, so.
Oh.
The Polish team, by the way, I talked to them a little bit. And one of the best things is honestly Lavakal, because he was sitting in Twitch chat during all the qualifiers, and he's been saying, like, hey guys, I really want to make it to the event. I'm going to come anyways, but I want to qualify for it. We're going to see them in the game now, as we're going to take a look at the bracket first, though. So again, our first match today is going to be Germany versus Poland. Polish team, they're super excited to be here. They know they're the underdogs. They're fully aware of it. They've been talking a little bit about, hey, we can cheese the Germans a bit. Just like ban all the tanks out, and it's going to be fine. And then we have France versus Sweden.
Is that another joke there? The betting on the tanks? Okay. On the other side, yes, France and Sweden will also be being played today, and there are 2 other European teams. I'm actually very excited for that match. I feel like a pretty equally match as well. I do have a bit of my heart in place when it comes to Sweden. Sweden is looking very, very strong for this tournament.
Dude, Sweden is too tall. Like, it's insane. Like,
we have a couple tall boys.
We met it yesterday with them, and some of them are already like too tall for my liking. I mean, I'm not insanely short.
What is too tall for your liking? What is that?
When my neck hurts when I have to look into your eyes.
You're taller than me. I don't like you.
That's a problem. So first Swam Grotan. This is just like barely a level that I can tolerate. And then Sven came along, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, that guy is just bumping his head all day long on door frames.
What are they eating out there?
I have no idea. They're feeding them some crazy stuff. Like, these guys are
like grass-fed for sure.
I'm used to Lauber. Lauber is like this, okay?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can look on Lauber's head, no problem whatsoever. And then Sven comes along, and he's just like, what are you tiny people doing down there?
We took team profiles, right? We should have Lauber like straight in the center, like sort of guy with the 2 on the background. It looked really good. That'd be a nice shot.
I was standing in the middle of like the 3 of them, and I just looked around and was like, you people need to walk away from me. Like, I'm having an inferiority complex just standing here. It was crazy.
So we will get to see more of them later on, and it's been such a great time so far. I mean, one thing that I was really confused about is Khaldor is my first interaction with a German person, and all the people out here in Germany are incredibly nice. So I ask you, Khaldor, what happened to you?
Rough childhood, I don't know.
Okay. Like, people were coming up asking for like selfies and whatnot, saying hi, and like they've been playing hot since 2017. And, like, it kind of reinvigorates my passion a little bit. Okay. It's nice.
But in my defense, so the one thing that also happened, he just talked to one of the photographers and then complimented him. And the photographer just looked at him like completely weird. It's like, we don't do this over here. I don't know what's happening.
He had a nice appearance.
This is the first compliment that I got in years. And I was just like, yep, that's exactly it, as the Germans.
Yeah. He had some nice gauges. I want to let them know that they look pretty good. You know, we all work together, so it's like one of my main goals to let people know what I appreciate about them. You know.
We got game number 1 coming up. So again, best of 5s. Obviously, we have tons and tons of action today. South Korea playing later. The Americans been screaming quite a lot. And we are going to head into Battlefield of Eternity, actually, as our first map here. And keep in mind, we also have some special rules as usual. So throughout all of the qualifiers, the rule was already in place that you could not pick a hero more than once within a series. But now, in addition to that, we also have, through the crowdfunding and the goals that are attached to it, we have additional bans. So we have 6 pre-bans right now. There could be more, up to you guys. !bans is the command in chat. You can check out to see the bans. And also, if you want to contribute to the crowdfunding, help us set up more events like this and ban more heroes for tomorrow, for example, you can definitely have a look at that.
We're pretty close to the next ban as well. So those 6 bans that we do currently have are Genji, Rhaegar, Blaze, Brightwing, and Johanna. They will not be able to be drafted here in game number 1. I'm excited to see how it's all going to unfold in this best of 5 series. Let's hop on into it. Battlefield of Eternity, Germany, taking on Poland.
Yeah, so Germany, Poland, again, they already played, obviously, in the qualifiers, so it is a rematch there for sure. The Germans, they are the favorite coming into this right now. Poland, very well aware that they are the underdogs. They've been talking about it, and they said, we're here to have some fun.
Yeah.
We're here to try and cheese the Germans a little bit and see what happens. But yeah, they've been super excited. For Lavakal, it's a little bit tricky, the support player of the Polish team, because we have a couple of bans that you can see on the screen right now. These heroes won't be available in the entire tournament. They can't be picked. And then, in addition to that, every single hero can only be played once. And unfortunately for Lavakal, a lot of his standard support picks are already gone. So he's just like, this could get a little bit tricky if we're heading into a 5th game, for example.
I was pretty shocked at how many supports were banned here. I thought there would be maybe even like a Hanzo or even Tracer taking on the bans. But having Rhaegar, Brightwing gone in particular, those have been some mainstays for a lot of our players. So we'll see how that is dealt with as we move forward in the future. Now, in terms of bans right now, we have Hogger and a Nubrak taken care of, and then a Maiev into a Lucio for Poland, which leaves that really strong top laner Leoric available, which we could see in the future. But first pick is Sylvanas.
Yeah, so Sylvanas here for Dino, and the Germans came in with a lot of confidence. Now, Dino obviously being here is a huge change compared to what happened last year in Miami. He was not able to get to the events in the US, but right now we're having him playing for the German team, and it should be pretty good. It's actually kind of fun how many aggressive players they have, since everybody for the Nations Cup had, of course, to change teams a little bit. There's teams where you have just a massive amount of DPS players that have now to role swap a little bit. Of course, you have on the side of the Germans someone like Hazops, who has a huge repertoire of heroes. And I think we're going to see also some special tactics with all of these games. A lot of the teams have already hinted that they've definitely prepared something, especially if it goes deeper into a series and more heroes are banned.
There are 3 things in life that are guaranteed, Khaldor: death, taxes, and Haswaps playing in esports. And the man shows up every single time.
Yeah.
I am always looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table. Yorel and Li Ming will be our 2nd and 3rd pick for Germany.
Yeah, so for Battlefield, we already have with Li Ming even more poke happening now from Ultralisk, and depending on how they play this one out, they can go for like an ultra-aggressive damage build, of course. We've seen a couple of glass cannons in the past, depending on how the team was set up.
Or CG.
Yeah, Sylvanas also now pushing when they get the Immortal. On the other hand, you have Hanzo played for the Polish team, so they definitely have some Immortal damage already locked in as well. But yeah, Snowball could be absolutely real if the Germans are able to win a team fight around Immortal number 2 and number 3, and then use Sylvanas to just push through one of the lanes.
How's Greymane looking nowadays? Because he used to be like a mainstay for Battlefield Eternity, but we've gotten 5 heroes deep and we have yet to see him.
I mean, Greymane for a long time has just totally disappeared, and I want to say that within the last 6-7 months, he's now being played a lot more again, and he's definitely an alternative Battlefield of Eternity. We've seen him also a lot, let's say, Garden of Terror has been played a lot more, so there you want to go for the mercenary camps. You get him occasionally on Tomb of the Spider Queen too. So he's an option here. But I think with Sylvanas not banned, which is actually quite a surprise, because normally she gets instantly banned here. Yeah, Sylvanas is just a better option as an early pick.
It feels like Greymane just kind of suffers in that like triple bruiser, triple melee that we've been seeing from a lot of teams. Just he has no sustain himself, and he can't really get into a fight, and there's a lot of CC, he kind of falls off, but this could be a candidate for him. We do have Uther and Rexar coming out for our top laner. The Rexar, the beast himself.
Yeah, a lot of stuns already, so you can definitely start to soak up some of these combos that Li Ming can throw out when it comes to a stalemate around the Immortal. And you have additional stuns with Uther, with a follow-up on Misha, and then, of course, Muradin himself. So there's a lot of CC that are stacking here, and that puts pressure on the support player on the side of Germany to try and keep everybody alive. But if they can chain that and get that kill, that would be pretty important. And we have immediately Varian and Stukov. So they are going to try for some quick kills and snipes as well.
Yeah, it's really easy when you have like a Li Ming or a Chromie, Varian moving in and taunting someone, locking them down. It's an easy target for Li Ming to move forward and get those resets. However, I do feel like if you look at the Polish team, they're pretty tanky. Uther, Rexar, Muradin. Wowzer. So the 5th pick should be coming out here. We'll see if we get a little bit more damage. Actually, it's going to be a Medivh.
I actually like that. So if you're looking at Varian, one of the best counters against all of these quick kills is, of course, somebody that can keep the target alive quickly. And you can play around Uther with the Divine Shield as a panic button a lot. The problem is, of course, the cooldown. So if you then throw Medivh into the mix and you have a shield up, you can provide some portals. That makes things definitely a bit easier. Question is always, can he keep himself alive to get the stacks going, complete the baseline quest? So yeah, we're definitely going to have a look at that. But I like it. Brings the draft together, allows them also to engage aggressively with the stuns that we mentioned into the backline, allows them another escape tool. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think these stuns are going to be very important here because the damage is a little bit lacking. Like Hanzo, of course, is pretty good. And Medivh, when he gets the stacks, can, of course, help finish up. But locking down a target and trying to maybe get through that Stukov or even Leeming is going to be a main priority for them. If they don't get that in the early game, I could see the mid game be a bit hard for them.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Medivh is going to be also an immediate target. But if they can, for example, play around the objective a little bit more, racing on the Immortal, you have a couple of tools where you can adjust, especially on Murden's side with your level 4. But they have to see how the game plays out. If they can just focus down the Immortal, if Hanzo is enough to give the German team a challenge here, since you mentioned they have a few more damage dealers that they can use. But yeah, they want to try and change the CC, get a good engage going with Medivh, and then play around that. But yeah, that sets us up. So
my favorite question before we jump into game number 1 for one, you guys at home, and of course for Khaldor here, which draft do you like more? Who do you pick?
I love Variant Sniper Comms.
Yeah.
They're straightforward. They are very clean. Usually.
You like yelling.
Exactly. It's a smash.
Yeah, just go on. We actually have seen Colossus smash in the qualifiers a couple of times too. I do think this will be a top, but still, the yelling can be good. Let's do into it. Battlefield of Eternity, game number 1, Germany taking on Poland.
And on the left side, we got the Germans with Hazorbs on Urel for the blue team. Nick is playing Varian, moving, of course, into that tank position for Germany. We have Death Knight on Stukov, Dino with Sylvanas, and Ultralisk on Leeming.
To the far right in the red, I'm going to need some help on some of these names, by the way. Lothcall on Uther, Itrax on Hanzo, Alvarez on Medivh, Arion on Muradin, and Rexar will be played by Ryu? Ruju. There we go. Let's hop into it. Let's see how it all goes. You see already Rexar heading the top lane, and we should have our clash down here on the bottom. A 2-lane map. We have officially started the Heroes International 2023.
And down at the bottom of the map, our foreman is already in position. So no actually big rotations here. Urel kept herself at the bot lane a bit longer just to see if she needs to chip in here too. But now the rotation towards the top, and the one-on-one lane is set up. Outside of that, pretty traditional down at the bottom of the map, the foreman, and off we go.
We will be keeping an eye on this wave clear here. Dino's actually pretty good here. It seems like we're going to try and fix some sound audios really quickly here, so let's take a quick pause and make sure that we are all good in that regard. Although the fight is still continuing here, and we did see one of our targets get pretty low, but let's get that audio fixed up real quick.
Game is already paused. I'm actually relieved right now. Everything has been going so smoothly over the last 2 days where we were setting up things here. I got really concerned. I was worried that the second that they're actually pressing the button to put the stream live, there's an explosion somewhere in the back.
Windows update.
Start breaking out.
So we'll get that fixed up really quickly and then move from there. But yeah, you're right. It's been actually this entire area, this venue that we've been in, everyone's been so accommodating and helpful that it was actually Khaldor were just sitting there and I'm like, yeah, you feel good about everything? And he's like, something hasn't broken. Something will happen.
There was no emergencies yet. Usually, like the half hour before is again, every single offline event when you have to set up the day before, there's usually something that doesn't really work out. So it was very suspicious. It was funny, by the way. So I talked a bit about the Experian, and of course, you guys can also check out the venue. There's links, there's commands in the chat, ! Experian if you want to see some pictures. But it gave me Gamescom vibes because they have a huge area here where you can play all kinds of games and right at the beginning, so we were here a little bit early, before the venue actually opens. And at 10 o'clock, we wanted to move out to grab some water outside and grab a coffee. And all of a sudden, it opens, and there's these kids that are just like storming past me, and they like shove me, and everything is like, get out of the way, old man. And I was like, what's happening here?
Getting up there.
Huh? Yeah. Sad but true. So basically, like, they're all pushing in. I was like, what's going on? Like, are they trying to watch the games? What's happening here? So they just try to get like the best seats on all of these gaming PCs to play the newest games that they may not have yet or use the newest hardware. And it was like at Gamescom when the floodgates open at some point and everybody just keeps pouring in. It was super fun. And behind them you had like the annoyed parents that then had to vouch for them at the security guy and say like, yeah. He's not 18 yet, but I'm with him, so they can play. So.
I wish I had this in America. Like, I would have been here the entire early days. I probably would be less of an introvert if I could actually talk to people. I did see, I came back and I had my coffee. and there was someone playing a game, and I see them like slamming the keyboard or whatever, just playing, just like fully invested. And then I think they lost because I sold my first nerd rage of the day, and I was like, I don't need my coffee anymore because that fuels me.
Well, we are back in the game now, and things have progressed. Obviously, the game paused, so we're still at the 1 minute mark here. Spray game is on point. I like it, so well, good shit on that account. And well, with level 1, we're going immediately into lurking arm build here for Stukov. But yeah, 6 stacks, 7 for Medivh. We're going to keep an eye on him, see if he completes the baseline. And yeah, I'm excited. Like, it's so awesome to be here. Really, it is. Like, this has been going for a long time with all the qualifiers and everything we had. We have the US team here. We have the Korean team as well, and everybody arrived. A big dinner yesterday, and it's just awesome to see that games finally start. So yeah, very excited about the next few days.
For me, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Poland for this match. I want to see how they're going to be able to perform. This is their first offline event that they are playing together, and they've been around the hero scene for a long time, but coming to a LAN can always change things up, and they're already bringing a little bit of aggression. Portal out to the back right side as the mercenary camp will be grabbed, and Germany easily grabs it. But you could kind of see it on their eyes a little bit when they first got here. They looked a little bit shaken up. It's a bit different of an environment, but their confidence was definitely there for a few of the players.
I mean, they also come to an event where a lot of the players that are here, they already met at some point,
True.
So they felt a little bit like they're the new kid on the block, I guess. And it was close. They played against Spain. It was an insanely close match, and Spain had the upper hand initially on the scoreboard. But Poland won out. They absolutely dominated that series and were able to qualify. So now they are here in Berlin, and yeah, it's been pretty great. Players are all at the same hotel. Same is true for staff too. Obviously, flights and accommodation for players was fully paid here. So everybody is just spending a lot of time together and having a lot of fun. Most of them came in on Thursday, so had time to just discover the local bars, especially shout out to my boy Lauber. Yeah, he's been great, by the way. Lauber's just so happy to be here.
Has Lauber not ever been fun, let's be honest.
No, not really.
Merc Camp's being grabbed for our players, and now the first immortal of the match will begin. Now, in terms of actual DPS, it's pretty good for both of our teams. Germany is a little bit more CG-based with control on the front line, whereas Poland wants to get that Hanzo in there and start working on those W builds as they want to try and burn it down. But meanwhile, they have to deal with this bottom lane, and they're already clearing it out, and you see Germany just chunking through that immortal.
And of course, it's kind of scary when Germany gets one of the immortals because of Sylvanas alone.
Yep.
And if you're the Polish team, you have to be really careful, since the Germans, the variant composition is something they used already in the qualifiers a lot. And I mean, it's been, I think, 2 years when Varian really popped up again. Benny played him a ton for Washed Up, and they were just so good at executing this and coordinating those kills. But we talked about the CC for Poland. They're trying to use it here. Harzobs with really nice zoning on the other hand, making it a little bit difficult for them to engage. But now they make the move for Nick, and Nick goes down. First blood for Poland.
But Nick was just creating space. He says worth an all chat afterwards as they try to clear out this immortal, and Germany gets it pretty easily.
Lauber told me just 2 days ago, if you don't die a lot as a tank, you're doing it wrong. So Nick is already doing an excellent job here.
Best tank ever. Health bar is literally just a resource in Heroes of the Storm, and it's something that you should try to use as effectively as possible. And I would say that death was definitely very worth here for Germany crew. Now, let's see how Sylvanas is able to use this push here. Dino checking out the bush on the bottom side. A flank coming in, though, on Murden.
Yeah, buying his time right now, trying to move in and misses the Stormbolt though, but they're trying to engage, shield down on the Immortal, moving back into melee mode. They're trying to get a kill at the front against Lavakal, and Uther is down.
Wow.
Uther gone, Medivh is getting focused next, and he needs to be careful. Yeah, 26 stacks for him already. You definitely don't want to die in that situation.
This was my concern with the composition for Poland. Do they have the damage to answer back if they're not able to find a pick with their engages? And after that Murden Stormbolt, Uther tried to step up and provide a heal and got caught out of position. Germany is very good at executing a member that might be a bit too far up. Misha taking some damage, gets the Force of Will, but look at that Immortal. It's already hitting the keep wall.
Yeah, Guardian of Ancient Kings for Uther on level 7, 32 stacks now for Medivh. He really wants to complete this quickly. You got to be careful that Germany doesn't turn on them, since the blue team has now decided to fall back. Big damage done, 4 down. They destroyed half the wall down here at the keep. So yeah, very, very nice start for the Germans. Kill for a kill, both teams on level 8, and even at the bottom of the map, some damage has already happened and is now exposing the fort.
Yeah, Germany will be getting some passive experience, and already they have a half a level lead on their opponents. Usually during this phase of the game, you're rushing towards 10 as quickly as possible, as you want to have it right when that second Immortal spawns up. Poland, knowing this, saw their opponents run to the top lane, and they decided to grab the Merc camp to the bottom for that experience. They'll also get a little bit of pressure. Dino and Hostile will be able to scout it out, but they cannot take that away as they are a little bit too squishy for 4 members.
Yeah, quest still not completed for Medivh, so next fight is going to be really important for him. Alvaros is just now using the bird form to scout out what's going on, but once that he engages into the battle again, he's going to look to complete this quickly, and then he can also be a bit more aggressive with the shield. Good stun here on Varian. You don't want Nick to engage and drop the taunt there. But Germany is pushing. They are a little bit ahead in experience. An early level 10 would help them a lot to maybe secure the next objective, doing more. They go for... They want him. They go for Medivh. And the lurking arm is just a second too late. Uther, on the other hand, is not able to save Muradin. So the front line goes down. Germany pushing nearly on level 10, and this is just... Poland has to retreat here.
Okay, Germany has done this 3 times now. They have found one target, caught them out of position. They make Uther drop all their cooldowns on that target with the Force of Will, and they immediately switch it onto another target. In that case, it was a Muradin who got picked off and was destroyed there as they moved to level 10. This is something that Poland needs to note because it's happened 3 times in a row, and it's cost them a death twice in the scenario. They need to be able to adjust and make sure they can stop that from happening. And it will be more helpful at level 10 when they have that Divine Shield.
You could really tell they were targeting Medivh, and then everybody, I don't want to say was panicking, but everybody was just like so worried about it.
Don't let him die. Don't
make sure that he doesn't lose the stacks right now. We really need this for the mid game, for the late game. So just drop the resources there, and then they switch targets. So the communication is absolutely on point on their end. Level 10 kicking in for Poland now, but Germany already taking a lead on the objective. And they still don't have their heroics. They're poking a little bit from the outside here, but they need to be careful.
And during all this, Sylvanas pushed out the top lane with the cannons, and she's going back there once again. Poland in a rough position, and this is kind of what their composition comes down to. They're full CC, but hang on, here's a CC. They locked down Yrel. Yrel finally gets the bubble off at the last second. The portal comes out. There goes an engage as Orion jumps in, trying to lock down Hasu up, and he finally gets picked up, but they will trade out Hanzo instead as well.
Hanzo is dead too. Divine Shield is already out. They're trying to make another move for Lavakal, and Uther is in trouble immediately. Ultron is coming in for the kill, and he gets it.
I think he just died there. That way he can provide heals. He finally brings the heals, but it's a little bit too late. And now Muradin all by his lonesome. Sure, he's big and tanky, but he has no damage. They bring in their own CC. Dino trying to bring down the combat. Orion will have a jump in a second, but it's not enough as Ultimus goes in with a teleport and finds the pick. And this will be a free Immortal for Germany as they earn that team fight.
Really, really well played there. But I gotta say that I like what Poland was trying to do. They used all those CCs that we already highlighted during the draft and just focused on Yrel. And if she dies before she gets the ult out, and it was close, then it's a completely different ballgame. Then they have to spend a lot less resources to try and chase her down and finally get that kill. Hanzo doesn't have to go that deep, might survive, and this could have turned the fight. But obviously Germany just playing it a little bit cleaner, picking those kills up, 6 kills to 2 now, entire level lead. And more worrisome is the fact that without a single fort standing, here comes Germany again with another taunt, another lurking arm. They want to get these kills, and they can with Sylvanas push once again for that bottom structure.
Germany trying to keep the pressure up. Poland answering back, but Orion gets picked off as Lingmin comes in for the last damage. Saw that Uther used everything in those heals. And in terms of heroics, they got nothing now, and they're just trying to hold against this Immortal, but it's still in range move. 2 picked off. Ultimus here is having a field day. He gets 3 kills with the help of Varian, and now the Keep is the next target.
Resets all day, every day, and the Keep is about to be taken down. Currently only Rexa and Uther there to try and defend, but this is going to be rough for the team in red. The level 13 talent advantage, big problem now too. Divine Shield already dropped. They're trying to buy some time for the rest of the team to respawn. It's going to be tricky, and that core's taking damage.
They need Medivh here. Medivh finally comes in, drops down a Q, has that leyline seal available. The Immortal still chunking down that core. Luckily, a couple of those catapults are hitting the turret on the side here. Where is that leyline seal? Finally, it comes down. It locks down 2. Orion trying to help on that front line, gets a Force of Will, is able to jump away, down to 700 HP, but the Immortal is still chunking that core. It's down to 30%.
30%, 20, and this is all she wrote. Germany wins game number 1, takes the W in Battlefield of Eternity, as they claim victory in map number 1 of the best of all.
Germany coming out swinging, being the strong team that we knew they were. I did like that Poland was trying to bring that CC train, just not able to effectively pull it all the way off. Those pre-10s, you can see them fall behind a little bit.
Yeah, it was really that one Yrel kill that they were chasing that then broke them a little bit.
Open the gates.
The problem was simply they were behind already, so they caught level 10. They realized, hey, we're a bit behind on the objective. Let's throw it all on Hasia. They looked for a target. Yrel was at the front, a lot of stuns, but just not enough to prevent the heroic from coming through. And then when they chased a bit too deep, lost too many heroes, and the snowball started. But Germany, they come in with the experience. They are also the favorite in particularly this series. So very, very nice performance from them here. And of course, towards the end, Ultra is just having fun with the resets there and getting tons and tons of damage out.
Well, I like that Germany knew when they were ahead, they were able to peel off the Sylvanas to make sure they have side lanes. Because that's one thing that kind of sucks about a CC-based comp like that we saw from Poland, is you don't have the wave clear, right? You don't have the time to spread out and try and deal with the experience coming your way. So if you do get a lead against them and you have a Sylvanas, feel free to peel that off. Because Lee Min can siege all day on those Immortals, and Germany just played it to perfection.
And I really want to know how Poland now reacts. As I mentioned before, I talked to them a little bit before the series started, and they're like, yeah, well, they actually discussed several ideas of what they could maybe do. So at some point, they also talked about just like picking heroes in game number 1 to try and like thin out the hero pool on the other side's players a little bit. But at the same time, they said, these guys have hero pools that are just so deep that we can't really do that.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, you know, Hosubs can play 20 different characters, Ultimate Flex. You still have scary things like Kerrigan for Nick and whatnot. So we'll be getting ready to check out our players and get ready for game number 2. Is it cool if we say the map? I see it. I scout the information. We'll be going to Towers of Doom, which is one of my favorite battlegrounds and Heroes of the Storm. This is a map that we have seen hostile up teams always excel at. But I do want to see what happens with these metas that are being built over these best of 5 series, because as mentioned before, every time a character is played, you can no longer play it through the series. So now everything that we just saw cannot be played going forward for the next couple of matches. And
now that we're actually talking about Towers of Doom, there's obviously also the factor that Vikings can be strong on this map. You can play Abathur compositions, and you have Hosubs on your team. So he can play all those, and he can play them extremely well. Has shown it in the qualifiers and other tournaments too. So that's always an option. And I can guarantee you that's on the mind of the Polish team now. So they have to think, hey, how are we dealing with this now? And maybe do they have a cheese too? Because they said, we know we are the underdogs, got a couple of things prepared, not sure when to bust them out. But maybe we're going to see something here.
I mean, the exciting thing about this tournament is we get to see those considered low-tier heroes, or heroes that don't really match up against the ones that are at the S tiers, if you will. So suddenly Artanuses, Murkies, these Butchers, all these characters that I care about and get to play, actually have a chance to be played. Every time I go to a tournament, I'm stupid. I'm relentless. I always ask, like, hey, you guys think we can see some Murky? And I always go, yeah, maybe. But, you know, they're, like, totally BSing me, like, just trying to be kind. But I actually got a maybe with an eyebrow raise, which is a big deal. You know, I can't wait. I want some of those to come in here. So I'm here for the fun stuff that we will be getting later on. I think it's a natural way for heroes to go without getting any patches, and so I'm just here for it. Game number 2, Towers of Doom. Germany taking on Poland, and Germany is up 1-0 at the moment.
Yeah, second map, Towers of Doom. So what does Poland have now? Do they have something prepared for this one? Map choice was made by Germany. So first pick, first ban for the Polish team. Germany is going for one of their best maps here for sure. And now the question, Abathur, Vikings, what exactly is Poland addressing here? What they're getting rid of? And the problem if you're going up against a team like Germany is there's so many key heroes for all of the players on the blue team. You just don't stand a chance to ban all of it out. So it's always like, oh my god, how could they let this hero through as well? Because if they don't ban the others that they just got rid of, then they would wreck them as well. So they just have to look at this and say, like, what do we think we can deal with? Do we leave a Kerrigan open for Ultralisk, or maybe even Nick if they're swapping someone in for a tank for this one to play? Is Maiev open? So yeah, same with Sergeant Hammer. Been played a lot from the Germans too. So yeah, they gotta really think this through, and it's not easy.
And the best part is they already are. Like, they already got that hammer that you were talking about earlier banned out right away. Poland, foremost, is a team of players that have been fans of the game for years. They've watched Germany and these players that have been around for a long time play the game. They know what they want to go for, and today it's all about seizing that opportunity and seeing if they can earn a W before they possibly move down to that loser's bracket. Because remember, we are in a double elimination tournament this weekend as well. So, Dahaka being taken away, removing that global aspect. Lucio, a second ban from Poland, who was also banned in game number 1 for them, so it looks like they really want to stay away from that.
And also, keep in mind, once again, that the heroes that you see at the bottom of your screen right now cannot be played at all, and the 10 that were played in the previous game cannot be played again in this particular series. So that is thinning out the hero pool already a bit.
16 heroes.
We got 89 in total, so there's still plenty of good alternatives, but especially on the support side, with Lucio being banned out, this is starting to force you a little bit out of the meta and forces some picks that might not be totally mainstream, at least when we're going into game number 3, 4, and 5. Oftentimes now here in the qualifiers, we've seen, for example, Alex Straza being played on Inferno Shrines, which is a little bit of a throwback to the old days in HGC and North America. Really like to play that.
They love the transformation.
Exactly. Alex Straza together with Tychus then was
the Vikings!
And they're the Vikings! We talked about them, and here they are.
With Tracer being picked up, suddenly Malfurion has to be a thought process for Poland. She pairs very well with Mal.
It's actually really nice. So we're a little bit in a separate area, in like a booth that is not quite directly in the arena, but even we can hear the crowd immediately like
we can hear you,
when,
crowd.
when they see the Vikings. I'm not quite sure if that's picked up on stream as well, but it's actually pretty awesome. So yeah, immediately when you see a good pick, people are happy.
Oh, and they adjust and actually take away Malfurion as she pairs very well with that character. So they want to take that away from them and make it a little bit harder for the support to keep Tracer alive. And then a Zeratul.
Zeratul is super interesting because he has not been played as much over the last 6 months as I would have expected. And he just did not get played a ton. We had him, I think, 2-3 times during qualifiers with Jaina. And then you can obviously still decide whether you want to go into Might of the Nerazim or if you want to combo Ring of Frost over with a Void Prison. But up against the Vikings, I mean, he's going to be hunting. He's going to be hunting Vikings whenever he can. It's going to have an impact on the squishies in the backline too. But that is going to... This is a pretty nice adjustment. I actually like that they're doing this. And all I want to see then is what kind of build Zeratul goes for. Is he still going to stick with Might of the Nerazim, or are they trying to wombo with Jaina?
And I actually like this ban for Abathur. Typically, Vikings do beat Abathur in a 1-to-1 ratio, but when you have Abathur paired up with Zeratul, it helps with that Viking hunting, and it helps with the wave clear, right? Which is something that Poland could really excel at. And Germany says, we don't want to deal with that. They ban it out, which is a smart heads-up play, and Poland answers back with a Tyrael ban. That's one way they can make sure that Tracer gets into those fights. You jump in, Sanification, get out the Pulse Bomb, and then reassess and go back in.
And Nick also is super aggressive with Tyrael. He is one of the players that made it popular to go for more of a damage-focused Tyrael that also drops Judgment. So you never know what you get. Is he going to go for Sanctification and trying to empower others? Is he himself trying to push the boundaries a little bit and play this more as an assassin? So very nice bans here from Poland too. Whitening coming in, Nick still with Diablo, the OG bully right there. Stuffing nerds into lockers since... When was the game released?
2014.
Damn.
Yeah, we're getting old, man. Like, Heroes is getting close to 10 years. Isn't that insane to think about?
Yeah, that's a bit crazy.
Yeah, my gosh, I remember being so much younger.
10 years, Heroes of the Storm. 5 of them with Blizzard support.
Maybe we'll get a patch. It'll be great. Zul and a Nubrak coming in for the 4th and 5th pick. And I think this is actually a very clever draft. When it comes to Viking compositions, typically there's going to be a 4-man stack on the opposing side while the Vikings try to soak up. So you want wave clear. You want to try and make sure that they are unable to push in the map as much as possible. So Zeratul will help out that Viking hunt. And then Zul is able to split off and clear out those waves and keep the experience levels pretty similar or even further ahead in the Vikings, which is always a win.
Also, one of the things to highlight here is that Maiev was now picked as the last choice, and she was banned in the previous series. So they try to get rid of her and make sure that Ultralisk can't play her here. Huge impact, of course, with those tethers, and Ultralisk knows exactly how deep to go with all of these plays. So this is a pretty sexy draft. You have, on the one hand, you have Vikings, you have a strong 4-man for the Germans, you have the aggression with Tracer, then you have Zeratul. So a lot is going to hinge on really how Arian is able to get damage out with Zeratul, whether they're going to try and wombo, whether they're going to try and play around Might of Nerazim, what kind of choices they make here.
I mean, you talk about the wombo, like a Void Prison into a Ring of Frost, an oldie, but still a strong one. And you know that the opposing team is going to be stacking up as 4, so you have that opportunity. If you sneak Zul or a Zeratul into a fight, you bring in a Bone Prison as well, Ring of Frost, and blow somebody up.
Problem is also just if you try and set that up, they are going to attempt to zone off Jaina to put the pressure on Zeratul, and you have the heroes to do that. So they might go down a different path, but it's definitely going to be interesting. Just keep in mind, the Germans are currently ahead with 1. We're heading into the game, so Towers of Doom is the second map. And once again, we got the German team over on the left. Hazorgs, the OG with the Vikings. We have Nick on Diablo. Death Knight playing White Mane. Ultralisk, of course, as expected, is going to be the one to play Maiev in game number 2. And Dino on Tracer.
The battle begins.
Representing Poland on the far right in the red, Lofgul Malfurion. Going to be having Zul played by Ibraxir, Zeratul on Orion, and then Ritsu on a Nubarak, Alvarez playing Jaina. Let's see if they can tie up the series and go into a game number 3, or if Germany will be able to pull off a 2-0.
Yeah, Poland also not shying away from role swaps every now and then. They had an adjustment, by the way, to make, so Twice was not able to attend the event. Apparently there was a family emergency. Of course, hoping that everything is fine there, but he couldn't make it. They brought in the sub player that already played with them during the qualifiers occasionally. So, yeah, they had to adjust there just slightly. Already on level 1, when we're looking at Zeratul, we got the move unseen over here. So, a few adjustments have already been made. Also, we were talking about Zul here going straight into Shade. He's, of course, going to be the one trying to rotate between lanes for wave clear and pressure the Vikings back a little bit, or at least play as a little bit of a counterweight to them. Very safe rotations also from Poland. They don't want to risk anything. And yeah, I'm really curious to see, especially how much of a problem Zeratul can become for the Germans.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious about the level 1 talent as well. Sometimes with wave clear, you go for the greater cleave talents and whatnot. But here, having that move unseen, he goes into stealth 1 second faster and has extra movement speed, which allows for him to try and play around that Diablo and make sure that he never gets engaged upon. So I want to watch and see how this unfolds, because I haven't seen that talent too much.
Yeah, the movement speed is really interesting, because on a big map like this, it also allows you to just rotate from a lane where you go for wave clear back into the team fight a little bit more often and so much faster. So this could really have a huge impact on the macro level for them, and I like that a lot. But Germany, at this point, not only have they taken their own pumpkin camp, but they also moved over and stole away the one on the right side. Their advantage is, of course, that the Vikings are currently soaking 2 lanes, whereas they have still a 4-man that can push strong through the bottom of the map. Tracer then every now and then dips off with the mobility that she has. But that means a lot of pressure from Germany right from the get-go.
Tether goes off, straight on Jaina, thrown down. Diablo goes with the beautiful block there, but it just wasn't enough. Alvirus was able to get off to the top right corner. However, those sappers did connect with the turret, took out the gate as well, and now that bottom lane is open. As we know when it comes to Tower of Doom, it's all about the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, bottom lane with 2 camps in total that move through it. Also the access to the bottom altar, which is so important here. We haven't seen a kill yet, but we got now Bed of Barbs, try and get a bit more control through that as well. And when we're talking as Zeratul, we're going straight into the Psionic Strength here. And Aaron is already starting to chase the Vikings down a bit. But, well, Hazorps is wide awake here. He had his coffee this morning, so he's all Gucci, just rushes away immediately, keeping an eye on all 3 of them. Hasn't lost a single one yet.
Who would you say has been the most infuriating Vikings in the history of Heroes of the Storm? Hard to lock down, hard to pick off.
I mean, it's a little bit tough to say, because from all the OG Vikings, most of them, dropped off after a while. But Lucifron was also incredibly strong.
Oh, yeah.
We had a while where Shad and Lucifron, like a lot of the Spanish guys that played at the beginning, they were like so strong, especially when it came to Dragonshire. I think it was Lucifron that was the first one to just backdoor and proxy some of the minion waves and apply a lot of pressure on the top lane. So I would say he is one of the most annoying ones, but of course, these days, it's really just Hazorps. When you say Vikings, you think Hazorps.
Yeah, and speaking of annoying, they were trying to go for all 3 altars, and that lone little Viking, Eric, was able to delay this for a long period of time, which gave more time for the rest of the members to soak up the Bappy. See that experience lead starting to gap a little bit here. We're about to have that level 7 for both of our teams, but Germany has that slight lead. Balog finally getting picked off, though, as Zeratul doing his best here to keep sniping them and keep that experience lead as even as possible.
And you can see on the minimap already that with Move Unseen, he's now rotating between the lanes as we expected earlier. He's really just trying to help out Zul not only to clear waves, but also eliminate some of the Vikings and make the life of Hazorps just a little bit harder. Haven't seen any big kills come yet, but again, the pressure. They're going for Malfurion. Bird Boy might be in trouble here, but they're also attempting to turn an Ultralisk, especially with Zeratul coming in. Sees him coming, of course, trying to retreat. Tracer getting attacked. A little bit of damage on Death Knight, and there's the Root on the ground as they're moving in for White Mane, but the kill doesn't come. Richard misses the stun.
Oh, just so barely there. Ultralis also landing a tether on 2 members and pulling the north side there to make sure they can get away, and Poland was so close to finding a kill there. And it would have been great. They brought everyone down, but they just didn't get it, and this gives more time for Balog, Eric, to soak those lanes on the top and the middle side. Sappers do come up, though, and Poland is able to snatch them away, it looks like.
This is getting real frustrating for the Polish team. They had a situation like this with Urel in game number 1, and now it happened again. Oh, Malfurion. They were so diligent about taking the safe routes earlier. This time, they are trying to take the direct path, and it costs them 2 heroes immediately. Malfurion gets caught and stunned. Jaina just stays a second too long thinking about helping him, and then she falls too. 2 kills for Germany, and that, of course, extends that lead that you were talking about.
The strength of Diablo and Maiev, if they find one target, they will keep chasing them down, and they will pick off a couple. Only 2 being lost there for Poland. Ritsu was left in the bottom lane all by himself to clear out, but here's the issue with 2 members going down. No longer they have that wave clear from Jaina, and now that fort is a couple of hits away from being taken down, and the game is going to get that much more difficult for Poland if they can't hold on to that.
I love Azul gets attacked, and Zeratul isn't even trying to help him. He's like, nah, you'll be fine. I'm going to take the Vikings now. I'm going to prevent the altar from being channeled through. So yeah, he just went straight past him. They're trying for Dino again, but Tracer is able to move out here. Aaron is doing some good damage. He already set this up in the last fight pretty nicely, but they need to speed this up because level 10 is looming on the horizon for the Germans.
Great flank there from Ultimus, coming on the bottom right, changing the dynamic of the team fight. Ritsu finally goes in.
Nice.
Tracer will get picked off, which means those pulse bombs are now gone. But only remember that there's a lot of damage here as Ultimus, and as long as he's spread out, you can watch out for those Phantom Knives. Malfurion starts the channel. Can he get it, especially before the 10 hits for Germany? Yes, he does, and Poland puts some more points on the board.
That was big. That was really, really well played by Poland. As I said before, they needed to do this before level 10 was available for Germany, and they just hit the perfect window of opportunity here. And it comes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the game. Zeratul, how much of an impact can he have here? And he was the one coming in, taking Tracer down, and that was such an important kill in this situation. And now we have him here. Again, they're not going for the Wombo, they're going straight in for the Might of Narzim. So he is going to apply pressure on Tracer. Vikings trying to go for white main too. They can now isolate targets off with the Cocoon. Obviously, on the other side, there was the option to go for a disc, but Ultralis decided to go for the cage.
I think that works out too. There's a lot of isolation picks here for Poland with the Water Elemental and the Cocoon at the same time. They can try and lock down one target. That cage should help out, but oh my gosh, diving behind the turret. Ultralis also able to dodge out on that tower shot at the same time to stay alive. And we lose Jano one more time for Poland, and that tower is gotta be taken out with a big minion wave coming in from behind, and Germany has got to love that play.
Yes, and of course Poland was trying to get a counter kill there and just couldn't. Zeratul wasn't here, couldn't capitalize.
Oh my gosh, Nick!
HP hero, but here comes the play. Nick a little bit deep.
Aegis?
The cage, the bait, the tethering, and Lava Color Malfurion gets killed by Tracer. Kill number 4 for Germany as the blue team takes control over the bot lane and the game.
I asked Nick before this tournament, I was like, hey, do you think we'll get a rise out of you? Do you maybe you'll talk some smack or maybe do like a big growl after you do a play? And he goes, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Guy is such a silent assassin. Incredible play there. Shadow charging forward off of a minion and then, of course, going for the overcharge, grabbing Malfurion, forcing the team to come in, and that allowed for Maiev to move up and get that cage. Great coordination there from Germany, and it all comes off of Nick.
The only one that gets Nick to growl is his girlfriend, I think.
Oh, God. Thank you for sharing, Khaldor. Alter grabbing the bottom side, more shards flying away, 32-23. As Poland right now is getting into a dire situation where they're going to have to turn this game around.
Level 13 any second now. They're of course trying to reclaim the bottom bell tower, but it is going to be a bit rough. Now there is pressure applied at the top side too. We shouldn't forget about Poland trying to also take bell towers here, and they could take control over their top lane pretty easily and make it at least a 4-4 situation. Arian is already here. Level 16 isn't ready just yet for the Germans, which means there's no stun from Olaf, so they don't have to be that concerned. But their main focus now is on getting some additional minion waves so that they can draw even with the opponent. But again, the engage and the APOC, the tether. Malfurion just doesn't stand a chance. If he gets caught like this and tethered, he is dead. He's too squishy, and he just gets murdered here, which allows Germany to connect another 3 shots on the red team's core. Nicely done. But at least Poland is able to get the bell tower.
Now, Fury is just one of these characters that if your positioning is not on point, it's going to be punished. Nick has an eye for these kind of things, too. After playing characters like Kerrigan and whatnot, he knows how to find these hard engages, and this Diablo is fitting perfectly with these gauges. My gosh, that poor Malfurion. Hopefully coming forward, he'll step a little bit more here. I know he's trying to help out with the wave clear, but he can't afford to be picked off there. I know it seems like a safe area. Now, Orion does scout out another engage on this top left side. Malfurion has just respawned, and they will have all 5 up. Itrak's trying to hold this top right side with Olaf putting some pressure on him, and he'll be just fine. Now, with the top lane turret being grabbed, Poland now has a little bit more room to finally grab the tower on the bottom right corner. And to be pretty frank here, they're similar on experience, 14.5 to 14.25. They're doing a great job holding on.
They have done a fantastic job, especially keeping control of that top lane, and now they also have a bell tower advantage with 5-2-3, so that's not too shabby. They just need to make sure that they're also winning some of these team fights and get some kills. And the interrupt is just too late, so there's 3 shots fired. That was a big opportunity for Poland to try and get 5 shots connected. They couldn't. Can they force the battle? Do they even want to? We don't see them dropping a cocoon just yet. Still would have had that opportunity, but decided not to go for it. They're not too far behind experience, but again, at some point they need to make a decision. And here it is, Cocoon comes out.
There it goes, and also going to have Zul drop down his mages. They're going to slow down the opponents. Nick goes in for an engage, locks down the target. You see a massive stun on top of Itrex. Finally, he gets off his bone prison, able to save life just a little bit. Cage comes out from my and it's going to be a pick on Whitemane. The healer is gone, but can they get more?
Yeah, they're trying to go in with Zeratul once again. Well played. Yeah, Lavakal was in trouble for a long time, but survived the Samuel Fury and got out to the Tranquility too. And now they picked up their kill, didn't lose anybody, still trying to chase at least a few Vikings down here. Hazovs is losing both of them now, so
they did it.
Yeah.
That's a great fight, and look at the window they've opened up. Whitemane's gone, Vikings, 2 of them have been picked off. They're on the top lane working on that. They have seen it with that play again, which means that opens up the sappers on the bottom left, and this gives them that pressure they needed on the map. They're moving towards level 16. Poland is in actually a great position. If they can get the next tower, at least 2 of them, they're definitely in this game.
Yeah, this is definitely the moment where they want to make sure that they're also drawing even in talents again, and they take it at the exact same time the Germans do. So now we also have Epic Enter for Nuburak that allows him to stun this out even better. Then again, Vikings become a lot more scary as well. So we have Largen in charge for Olaf. That's definitely a bit of a game changer in these team fights.
I mean, if you're a Vikings player or someone that enjoys watching Vikings, watch Hasselhoffs when it comes out Olaf. He does such a great job of getting into the middle of a fight and spacing him out to where he's annoying, but also incredibly effective.
5 kills to 4. Germany a bit ahead in experience, but it's 4 Belters to 4. Here comes the triple altar phase. A bit of a moment of truth here. Germany still with 32 points on their core, and now they have the Viking advantage, which, as it seems, is going to allow them to take 2. Arion, the interrupt comes through. Nicely done.
But Nuburak got bodied in the bottom right corner. Malfurion's trying to heal him, dropping those heals where he can. Ultimus getting sieged as well by this water elemental. Same time, the Vikings are being dealt with by Zul in the top right corner. Diablo goes in for a full engage, and Nick finds another pickoff as he will be taking out a Nuburak. Do have Zeratul in the back left, but tethered to the corner, and you see Germany just wiping the floor.
They were ready for him. They waited for him to engage there and just picked him off. And of course, Nick, fantastic play by him. The OG bully right here sees the target and pressures Nuburak. No chance for the Polish frontline players. All 3 altars are going to go over to Germany. They want another kill, they want to follow up, and they go for the top, and another stun into the wall. Nick with a play. Itrax gets isolated, running towards the middle, but they still pick him off. That's 8 kills to 4, and Poland is down to 5 points on their core.
Man, watching Nick play Diablo makes me wonder if he's even human. I feel like he's a shark, you know, just wearing a human skin or something. He's able to find these angles and land down the perfect hits to get the lockdown. It feels almost unfair.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, a lot of these guys are damage players, of course, so they have an eye for these kills and they're coordinating around them. And it's the German efficiency in calling, the communication, you know, it's always there.
And I've ridden a train here in Germany. I can speak towards that efficiency.
You were so happy about public transport.
I love the trains. I'm like a little 5-year-old. I'm like, choo-choo. You know? They're so great out here.
He's been talking about the train he took from the airport for 2 days now.
I will keep talking about them as well. Impale goes up, locking down Olaf for a second here, and while Poland is down 3-3 in terms of bell towers, they are actually in a good position in that, but look at the score here, 32-5. They can't afford to lose much more here. They are on the ropes.
They definitely are. So at this point, one altar, or even the boss, would drop you down to a single point on the core, and if you connect another pumpkin, then it is lights out. So Poland is trying to be aggressive. They also know, of course, that once level 20 hits for Germany, there's a huge window where they're going to be even stronger, so they're trying to make it happen now. Nice ice block from Jaina, as we got the cage going down on Zul.
Cage locking them down. Death Knight taking some damage here. Finally drops the Aegis, giving him some armor. Ari at the same time trying to hold it back right, but Hasselhoffs and crew lock him down, and the Vikings actually secure that kill. Tracer will be able to recall and get her health and be able to walk away. However, Diablo getting low at the same time. Can they make something happen? Itrex picked off on the top side as well by the Vikings. Right now, Hasselhoffs is being just a menace with those Vikings.
Nicely done by Lavakal, surviving here. Ultralisk wanted to go for him, but eventually had to retreat. It's a good jukes coming from Malfurion. But they are definitely in a pretty tough situation now. They are down 1, and already the channel at the top are happening. So Jaina goes down, the Vikings with the channel, 4 shots fired, drops them down to the final point. And this is going to be all she wrote, as we have top left, another channel happening. The stun from Lavakal, and he has to deal with the Vikings now. Here comes the spin to win, and goodbye Malfurion. 5-man team wipe.
Absolutely taken out there. And Germany will go up 2-0 in the series as they're able to grab that altar. Finally, Balog is working on it. We're going to have the tower on the bottom right, just taking their time, playing with their food a little bit here, as the final shots will now conclude and finish the game. Germany going up 2-0 over Poland.
2-0 victory for the Germans. 13 wins to 5. Nicely done. Towers of Doom, always a strong map for them. They proved it once more. And I'm just happy that we saw the Vikings. I was already earlier walking over and I was like asking, so what do you think? Vikings, when exactly are we going to see them? And he's like, probably early. We like them. Probably early. And the thing is, if you see that as a future opponent of Germany, you are immediately thinking, we gotta ban this out.
Yeah.
And that means you have to sacrifice one of your bans, which you can't use to target Dinu, to target Ultralisk, for example. So that could put you in trouble.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you have the wave clear. You gotta make sure your team fights are set up if you're playing against Vikings. Because the thing is, like, they are good on Towers of Doom, but they're great on maps that we can see later on. Garden of Terror, Cursed Hollow, big maps that have these big areas of experience, or mercenary camps. We could definitely see them in the future. But Hostile Labs continuing to treat us and delight us well with that pickup. I think we're about ready to go to commercial break, Mr. Khaldor.
Exactly. We're jumping into a short break. Give the players a little bit of room to breathe, bathroom break for them, and then we're back with game number 3, so see you guys in a second.
More bread. You want me to take it? Oh, hey. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the stream as we are currently in the Heroes International 2023 in Berlin, Germany, and we are already in a series 2-0 for Germany so far as they take on Poland. And just a quick update, that Danish that I brought over to Mr. Khaldor is gone. Somebody ate it.
I didn't say it was bad. I just said it's not bread.
It was pretty good, though.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty tasty. I was into it. I like all the flavors out here because, like, they're not overbearing like I'm used to. Like, a lot of, like, sugar and a lot of, like, things that kind of overdo it. It's like, I don't want to use the word bland, but it's muted enough to where, like, I enjoy eating it, but I don't want to go back and get more.
Tim is so happy ever since he came. He was like, I love this, I love that. And I'm like running around having the exact same experience. Like, I hate this, I hate that. When you were talking about the train and how happy you are riding the train, I was just reminded that the train here still doesn't have air conditioning and it's like 30
degrees hot
there and I'm sweating. I was like, thank you, Deutsche Bahn. That's exactly what I need.
I feel like I was trained well for Germany, though, because like, we went to Kiev, and Kiev was like 105 degrees when we were casting.
Fair enough.
So like here being 80 to 90, I'm like, you know what? I can handle this. A little armpit sweat, but it's fine. I'll drink some water.
Yeah, Germany has this famous thing where in one summer, one of the top-notch trains that they had, one of the newer ones, the air conditioning just stopped working, and the excuse was, well, we didn't expect it to get hot. And I was like, wait, what? I'm not quite sure you don't understand how air conditioning works or when you need it. But yeah, so coming here, that immediately reminded me. It's been a while since I've been in Berlin, actually. Like, I lived here, I think, 10 years.
How was it for you revisiting your motherland? It's been a few years, right?
Yeah, I mean, Berlin is just not my city, I gotta say. Yeah. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong. For like visiting and being here for a while, I think it's awesome and all for the culture. But at the same time, living here, I prefer cities that are a little farther south, or Hamburg, for example. So Berlin was just not really for me.
It reminds me of San Francisco a little bit. Like, I don't know if you've ever been there, but like in terms of how everything looks,
lots of
homeless
people.
Yeah. Wasn't going there, but you know, I forget how blunt people are out here in Europe.
You haven't cast with me in a while.
It's been a minute, man. Out there doing my own stuff.
When I have him next to me, I can just unleash because I know once that I go a little bit too far overboard, he's gonna pull me back in.
You'll get the eyes.
I can judge the reaction. It's like, all right, that was 2 steps too far, so let's slow it down.
And then I get to be a little more toxic. It's great. It's a good relationship.
I don't have to pay attention to what I say because he does.
Well, we're about 30 seconds out from our next match here, getting ready to see where we're going to be moving to. Speaking of trains, right now, Germany's kind of running over Poland a little bit, 2-0 so far. But I like the heat that Poland has been bringing. They are definitely holding up their own, and they don't look like they're getting kind of pushovers, right? They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they've been a pretty good job, especially in the mid-game. Some of these team fights look very strong for them. And now that we have even more heroes unavailable, we'll see what exactly is going on there. But yeah, obviously, in Poland, they knew from the start this is going to be a little bit rough for them. And they go up against the team that, of course, took first place in the standings. So that plays a big role here as well. For Germany, it would have been a bit embarrassing if they are now starting to drop like 2 maps. So this is supposed to be a clean 3-0 victory for them. But Poland, they are looking for a few upsets here. They're looking to see if they can maybe with a quick cheesy draft have an impact and take them on. So we'll see if they can pull that off or not. But going into the next game, it's going to be interesting what they have up their sleeves. If maybe we are now seeing some of those heroes that are completely out of the box because they're thinking, we got to try something different.
Sure, yeah. I mean, one of the characters that we've seen a lot in the qualifiers that I would love to see is Artanis, but it really does come down to basically what the map is, what we're going to, what we're going to be playing on. And we're about to find out, as actually we are heading into the draft right now. Brax's Holdout will be our map.
Praxis holdout, exactly, is going to be a map number 3. So first match point for Germany. And Poland has, again, a chance to at least put 1 point onto the board, but it's not going to be easy. And with Praxis, normally you want to have heroes that are quite mobile and can traverse those lanes very, very quickly. That's one approach that you can go for. We've seen some very aggressive push compositions as well from teams in the past. So this is another one that is an option here. But I'm particularly interested in what's happening on the top lane, what kind of heroes we're going to see there. And I would not be surprised if the Germans, for example, are busting out Atanas here.
I mean, some of those top lanes that you normally see have already been picked up, so they can't be drafted here. We've seen Misha and Rexar on the top lane before. Zeratul in the past has been kind of like this weird way of doing guerrilla tactics. Artanis, as you mentioned. Ragnaros actually becomes a little bit on the viable side here as you get that lava wave to clear out those things. Not something we can see all the time, but we can hope out for it. In terms of draft right now, Chromie, Mephisto taken care of, Sergeant Hammer and Falstad banned out, and we have our Hogger into an Oriel and Gul'dan for Poland.
There's the Atanas pick, by the way.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. Atanas is in, and we got an Oriel first pick. Are we going to see a Cho'Gall ban?
You're asking the wrong person. That's a Bahamut thing.
That's a Baha question.
Yeah, this is a great time to ban. Possible, actually.
We had a Cho'Gall. We actually had a Cho'Gall in the qualifiers.
I mean, it's a 2-lane map, and then you have Oriel to sustain them off the Gul'dan hills. Yeah, for sure.
This could get wild. So, yeah, kind of interested what they're going to go for here. It's a little bit early. I mean, if you draft Oriel this early, you're already like hinting a little bit at it. You're pretty much begging for that ban. But what else can they do with it? I like the Gul'dan pick. Obviously, you want to have the wave clear in the 4-man that is really going to help them to also attack the structures. With Artanis and Hogger, that can get real spicy. You can swap somebody also into a 7-sided strike from Karazim. There's all the mobility we're talking about. And there it is! Cho'Gall!
Wow!
Cho'Gall in the house. First series. Nations Cup playoffs, everybody. We're in Berlin, and we get the double trouble.
Where's our focus on Bahamut? His giant smile. You know he's having a good time right now.
Where's that roaming cam when you need it?
Where's the roaming cam? We need the roaming cam. So we have Leori picked up, and then Imperius. Do you think they were trying to bait out the Cho'Gall by banning Malthael here?
Not quite sure. I think they were totally fine with it.
I'm going to say yes, and they're big brains.
Look at the amount of melee that they have, and now Impact Malthael there, so I think that was more so the idea that they had.
I mean, Imperius and Leorca are a perfect answer here, though. You get your lockdown. It's a little bit harder for Oriel to deal with that. She would have to pull out an Aegis. They need to go for some kind of cleanse, but then you have the percent damage, Karazim 7-sided strike. Artanis is a nutty killer here as well. I love it. This is crazy.
Deathwing and Cho'Gall. All right, guys. So definitely a spicy draft for game number 3 as we're heading into Praxis. And yeah, this is going to be quite nice. Especially, of course, we have a lot of percentage damage on the other side. You have Leoric to drain. You have stuns that come in here too with Imperius. Can be followed up easily. And in addition to that, 7-sided strike as an option. But a little bit of fan service from the Polish team for sure here with the Cho'Gall pick. I like it.
One of the cool things about Heroes of Storm is everything is so sustain-based when it comes to team fights. So these 5-man melees actually can work out. One of the things that does suck, though, however, is if you do get behind this composition and you have the Zergways coming your way, you're in a position where you can get sieged down by Gul'dan and also get really terrifying with that Horrify. So they need to be careful when it comes to that result. But in terms of holding the beacons, they could be in a good spot for this.
The last time that we saw Cho'Gall here, I think he actually won the game.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was very close if I remember correctly, and it was towards the end of the round robin phase in one of the final play days. But I think Cho'Gall actually decided that game in their favor. So looking forward to see what exactly they can do with this one. Against Germany, that would be a huge win. And again, the Germans, they are supposed to win this with a 3-0. If you end up number 1 in the standings as you're heading into the playoffs, you have to be able to defeat the 4th place team. So Poland, if they can take a map, that would be great for them. Obviously, we have also been in a loser's bracket here, so even if they lose here, they will still have another chance to make it through the bracket. But well, here we go. Germany against Poland, game number 3. Hazorbs with Leoric. We got Dino on Artanis. Ultralisk, he's playing Imperius. We got Death Knight doing push-ups with Karazim. And Nick is playing Hogger. Yeah, one-handed push-ups.
I know you're like super fit, so it's probably like really easy for you, but that is something that we should all like praise because people can do one-handed push-ups.
I thought everybody's doing that.
Shut up. On the right side in the red, Lovekill on Oriel, Idrex on Deathwing, Ridzu on Gaul, Cho on Orion, and Alvera. So what is their name here for the Cho'Gall mix? It is, can you stop moving? I can't read. Arizusa! What a fun name for them. They're going to go the top side here and be effectively a 2-on-1.
You know about the base Cho'Gall name, right?
Which one is it? What do you think?
I had a Cho'Gall game where there was an amateur team that played and they drafted Cho'Gall. These guys had one mission and they succeeded. They just wanted to be on stream. The Cho'Gall name was the gay orgy.
Oh. A fun time indeed.
It was so good. This is the only thing these guys wanted. They wanted to be on stream at some point. They drafted Cho'Gall. Our job here is done. Didn't even care about the game. Like,
Happy Pride Month, everybody. That's for sure.
It was glorious. I think it was one of the Asian teams. I think one of the Taiwanese. It was fantastic.
Well, in the top lane, Cho'Gath and crew were able to clear out the top side. They put down that IF kill log, which allows for them to scout out their opponents coming in, as Jeremy tried to go for a quick kill. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, you're going to have the siege here from Poland. Now, what I like about Deathwing here is he can step up and take a lot of damage. Obviously, you don't have to have Ario worry about him. If he ever gets in trouble, he can fly back up and heal on up. So Gul'dan just gets all the love that he needs, which he needs a lot. If you've read any of the lore, that man needs a freaking hug.
Deathwing has also been played by the Germans a lot during the qualifiers, and they oftentimes play Nick on Deathwing as
the so close
main tank. But Gul'dan goes down. Karazim, the Baldy, comes in for the first kill. Off we go. Gul'dan gone, and that is first blood for Germany.
Now, I'm a critical person when it comes to Artanis players, and I gotta say, when it comes to Dino, he delivers. The man knows how to play Artanis. He knows to get into the fights. His swaps, while not needed to do, a lot of Artanis players kind of overdo it with the swaps to try to play Stitches.
Yeah.
He's always very in the middle of a fight, but aware of what he can get away with, and I love watching him play. Ario gets locked down here by Imperials. It comes in for the shish kebab, gets a knock up. Dino goes in for the blade dash and finds a pick, and then he starts shelling away on top of the Cho'Gath as well.
Yeah, the one thing that I still have to see, though, is if Dino is really willing to also play Artanis when, it's like down to...
When it matters.
Yeah, when all of a sudden, it's game 5 or whatnot, or you play against a really, really tough opponent, winner bracket final, loser bracket final, wherever you find yourself, if he then also busts that out. Because in this series, you're 2-0 ahead, you're going up against a team that you've been doing really well so far throughout the series. So, of course, there's a lot of confidence here, and it adds a lot. But if he can do that against a team that is just on eye level with them, that would definitely change things.
Yeah, I mean, I think based on how the team fights work out, Artanis could definitely do well for them, but it's going to come down to BOE probably if it's going to be a situation where you see it.
No!
Oh, low on HP,
the whip.
Heals, and the heals will be just enough. Now, Deathwing is dealt the deal with Leoric in the bottom right, which you would think would work out, Dragon versus Skeleton Boy, but Skeleton Boy... He kind of bops in that team fight, and you already see Leoric healing him off. Deathwing had to retreat away. Meanwhile, 4 men come in, lock down Ariel. She gets taken out right away. Cho'Gall also thrown into the corner, and that's going to be 3 kills for Germany, and they're making it look easy.
Yeah, they at least took Karazim down, but of course there's Leo for drains, for slows, the swaps that come in from Artanis, and you have the stuns with the lunges that Imperius provides, and they're just dominating this. They're taking the first objective with 100-0. They have taken full control of this game, and we're only 3.5 minutes in. So this is all a question of whether or not Poland is able to defend right now, because things are not looking good for them.
Good news for Poland, though, is Gul'dan does scale into later stages. Usually you want to get him to level 16 so he can have his full power be available to him. Same here with...
Replace that when with an if.
Yeah, if you want to go that route. And then at the same time, Cho'Gall as well wants to get to the later stages because they want to unlock some key talent. But yes, getting there could be difficult. Hogger moving in for a full engage on the back right, buying some time. Shish Kebab straight on top of Ariel as well, gets locked down, and that's going to be an additional pickoff. And here's the worst part. You want to be sieging down that Zerg wave. Those Hydras are the DPS against the fort. And if those aren't being dealt with, they will, of course, mill the fort, and it gets picked off. Irex comes in as well to try and help out, but with no healers here, Poland's in trouble.
Yeah, and Dino, he's going beast mode. I mean, his swaps have been on point. I mean, holy hell, that was great. So many kills just really facilitated by his initial swap and then the follow-up that the rest of the team brought in. And again, remember, these guys are playing full melee here. So for game number 3, they've been full melee on us. Poland is still struggling to catch up in talents. They're still 1 behind. They lost their top fort. And once you lose these forts on Brax's holdout, you know you're in trouble because gaining access to the beacon and holding them is so much more difficult outside of you winning a team fight initially. And
Dino has this build, when you're ahead on Artanis, you just feel like an absolute god. He's moved into the level 7 pickup of Solarite Reaper, which means that whenever you blade dash, you do 175% extra damage on your first attack. So if he can line that up on his opponents, he has the option, if he does chunk them, to go ahead and go for a swap, which he brings into the safety of all these melees that want to try and bring in those punches. And that's why Dino is succeeding so well. His team is willing to follow him up. Poland, however, not backing down from a fight, charging forward as they are on even even talent tiers, hoping to maybe take away the siege camp. At the same time, Hogger getting deleted here, trying to spin away. He's been poisoned. Oh my god, the heals come in just in time. At the same time, Alvarez trying to kite away, dropping down his Shadow Flames. Can he get a heal from Ariel? No, he can't. She is full on the bar here.
Dino!
Oh, he's got the heals. Dino low. But this is why Artanis is the man. Shield Surge comes in, able to stay alive, just barely there. And that is going to be 3 kills to 0 as Hogger survive.
Gul'dan goes down 10 kills to 2, nearly a 2-level lead now for Germany. Poland in real trouble as they're losing ground. Camps moving through the lanes, the bottom fort exposed. And with level 10 just around the corner for Germany, it looks like they are easily going to lock in a second objective once that these beacons pop up again. Yeah, this is tough. They just can't get the kills. There's so much sustain, and especially on Artanis at this point. There's the 7-sided. The stun is coming out. They're going for Deathwing. They're going for Lavakal. And they take down at least the support player on the red team side.
And that hurts too. That's 20 seconds you don't have your support available to you. And we've seen here, Gul'dan and Cho'Gall have had a hard time in team fights. They need her to be able to help out, especially with the heroics coming in for Germany. They go for a setup on the boss, and both beacons after this boss will be open.
The timing is perfect. I mean, it couldn't be better than that. Just look at this. 10 seconds for the beacons. Boss is about to be taken. They will just have enough time to move straight up towards the objective after they take this one. They have level 10, level 11 any second. The opponent hasn't reached level 9 yet, so they have a massive window here. And Poland can't really do anything. This is going to be super, super tough here. This might be game.
I mean, the only thing you can try to do is maybe go for a pick, but look at Germany. They're setting up to make sure that they can help each other out. There's 2 people near each other. They may have to just wait this out and try to go for that wave clear. And at 10, they will have some options available to them to help out with it, but I do believe and fear they're going to be losing a keep on this push.
I think this might even be game. This is so rough for them. If level 10 kicks in for Poland, that's a big if, then they might have the chance to get a bit of a wombo off and get a kill or 2. But outside of them getting kills, this could be a lights out move. They're making a play for the big bad ogre. Double trouble gone. Didn't even need that 7-sided. Easy kill, 13 to 2. Poland is already losing ground topside, and the Zerg wave isn't even here yet.
This might be all ogre now, as this keep is currently in trouble. All 5 pushing up in the top right. The dragon doing their best to help out with the wave clear.
Very punny.
I wanted to get one in here. Working on this top lane, and the keep will take a little bit of damage, and it looks like Germany decides to go ahead and back on up as they want to push with this massive Zerg wave that is heading down in the bottom right corner and looking to open the wall.
Yeah, and they're going down to the bottom of the map now.
10's not here yet. Oh my gosh.
Ogun out. That one never even occurred to me. So good.
I always like doing puns with you because it's like, it tickles your fancy so much. You're all about
makes me happy. Level 13, any second in Germany on their way to a potential victory, but at least we have heroic abilities for the Polish team. Now they can fight back. They're still down in talent, but at least they have heroic abilities and have an opportunity to try and get a kill here. And Germany is not able to push through these keeps as quickly as I thought they would. Instead, it's now a quick horrify, but it's not good enough. They can't get that kill on Dino, no matter how many times they try. Artanis survives.
Barely able to sneak out. I was actually kind of doubting that suppression pulse there from Artanis, but it was enough to keep Cho'Gall on a point where he wasn't able to auto-tech him down and get that kill, which allowed from the tree. I was thinking maybe a laser might be good for Gul'dan because he has to do casting and second animation, but Germany's showing that their heroics are being picked and being utilized in an intelligent way. Able to save Artanis. The keep did fall, and now Poland has 1 building left before their core.
A great job definitely by Poland to make sure that they're not losing the game right there. Problem is the top keep is now under pressure from catapults and minions, but they have to, of course, fight for this one. They're trying to get kills, they're trying to get ahead, they're trying to be aggressive. Deathwing! Trying for the damage. I think they want to kill Dino at least once, but it's not happening. Instead, Gul'dan falls once more.
Cho'Gall is in there, tries to get the kill, finds a couple of picks here. Actually able to get the Lava Surge off from Deathwing that finds a pick, but Artanis is nice and healthy. And with Nick chasing down from Hogger, it looks like Deathwing will have to retreat. Oh, are they able to walk away? It's getting kind of hard right now. The heals are minimal, and Hasselhoff's keeping that creepy hand, even from death, locked on him.
Yeah, it's still fighting here with Cho'Gall, top side, under more pressure. Eventually, they have to send somebody there to at least take the catapult down, and they should. But so far, they're still holding. I mean, it's 15 kills to 4, so Germany is way ahead of them. It's a 2-level lead. The stats advantage alone is great. In addition to it, they have the talent lead. But here comes once again Poland, still trying to fight this one out. Napierdalai, they go for Hazu, but they cannot get him. They chase him back. Ultralisk is here. Nick is already threatening to flank in too after he took the camp. And Poland just looking for any opportunity to maybe claw their way back into this.
The hardest part about this composition is trying to get and engage when they want it, as Poland has just been able to unlock them down. Deathwing's animations take a bit too long, and at the same time, Cho'Gall unable to get a full surge. It usually makes it a little bit on the harder side. What would you have thinking maybe like an upheaval pickup here? Do you think it would have been useful?
Yeah, either that, or, I mean, if Gul'dan lands the Horrify perfectly,
True.
that can help them. In the last fight, he tried, but he just missed it by a bit, and so the target was saved. But yes, the hard engage is a bit of a problem for them. Germany can just play around them and move easily backwards, as we just saw with Hogger, who escaped them as they tried to move in. So they are doing their best right now to somehow force the issue, but
it's a bush!
Outside of the party bush, it's Deathwing who moves in though, so not a problem. And now they're trying to go for Death Knight.
Cho'Gall there was able to help out, jumps on top of the point and is contesting it, but both were already activated. 18% set up for Germany. Horrify comes out, locks one down. Ariel cannot move. She's trying to get the heals off, and it just isn't enough. Idrex does come in with the Deathwing, able to get some damage down, but look at the health bars. They are just dropping too quickly here as Germany goes in for 4 kills. Can they get the 5th?
Yeah, well, they're trying. Mace to the face to end the life of Gul'dan. So Leoric already knocking it out of the park, as with level 16 to 13, we have them push for the top. Double control on the beacon as well. Another objective for Germany, and it tracks.
Dido! That was nutty. So Deathwing is actually unstoppable at all times, but Dido, knowing this, was able to use that Warp Prism at the last second to switch it and get that last auto attack there. That was so clean from him. And to add insult to injury, Germany is able to grab a boss as well. I feel like this is all she wrote, Khaldor.
It has to be. There's only one keep left. It's already at 50% HP. You have a 3-level advantage and a talent lead over your opponent. That top lane is looking juicy now. The Zerg wave coming in already. Nick sitting at the side here, ready to flank. Boss on its way. This would be an absolute miracle defense if Poland can somehow hold here.
Here we go. The clear begins. Those Hydras have to be the main focus, and to the credit of Poland, they are the focus here. Getting deleted pretty quickly. The Guardians come in afterwards. Leoric 2 comes in. Deathwing takes some punches. Able to get out. Ooh, no he wasn't. He gets blown up the last second there by Imperius. Cho'Gall stuck in an Aegis. Gets out a couple of heals, trying to knock them back. Simultaneously trying to fight, but also make sure the Zerg wave does not get to the core, and they are holding for now another charge.
Shockwave interrupt with a Horrify. Don't see that any day. So now we're going for the core as Cho'Gall falls again. And they're making a play for Gul'dan. He's there too. It's another 5-man team wipe.
And the core just getting obliterated here by the boss and Ultimus and a few Guardians. Even the walls getting destroyed by Germany here in the middle. They are leaving no health bars at all. Down to 5%, down to 0. And that's going to be GG here from Poland. Germany will take the victory 3-0.
Germany takes it. They win the first round in the winner bracket. And of course, Poland, they're not out of the tournament yet. They're dropping down into the losers bracket, but we will see them again later today. But yeah, definitely a great opening here. We get Cho'Gall, Germany. They are one of the favorites to make it to the grand final. We're going to have some spicy games later also, of course, with North America. So they feel very confident too. The South Koreans, Korea against Germany is actually our next match in the winner bracket. Not in the schedule, but like
later on.
Later on, exactly.
It will happen.
We'll get that. But yeah, that's going to also be quite interesting.
It will be a very fun one. And for Poland, in game 1 and game number 2, I got to say they were actually pretty close against their opponents, especially with like the Vikings composition on Towers of Doom. Game 3, it is Braxis holdout. There are going to be snowballs that happen. You're also playing a bit of a wonky composition. But I got to say, I'm proud of what they were able to bring to this tournament. And now that they finally have a little bit of offline experience underneath their belt, I would love to see them be resilient in the lower bracket and maybe earn a couple of W's, which they can definitely do here if they focus up and move forward. But Germany, man, looking clean.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to the schedule, Germany, they have a break now. We have France versus Sweden coming up next in the schedule here. But then afterwards, Germany plays again, and then they have to go up against South Korea. And the Korean team is replacing China. So as you might have already seen on social media, there were issues with the visa and data. And eventually, we had to disqualify the Chinese team, and Korea was thankfully within an hour able to provide us with all the information that we need, and we're able to bring them over here. So big shout out to them. They're of course happy to also participate. But yeah, we will see Korea against Germany later. But before we're jumping in all of these games, we also have a quick interview. So we're going to throw over to that before we're heading then afterwards into France versus Sweden. So guys, stay tuned. There's a lot more Heroes of the Storm coming today here at the Experience. And if you live in Berlin or close by, you're still more than welcome to stop by, visit, and watch all of the games in front of the stage with the audience.